It's pretty much a shooter you should just do right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Should I try to do that?
Do the
that
tornado
swirl thing?
Should we start? Is this for me?
No, I was gonna have him open it.
Oh, okay. No,
Oh.
I didn't know what you're doing.
I got.
You better edit those and make them full size, Rylan.
Yeah.
Jesus, why don't you just buy the regular size ones?
Dude, because it was $7.99 compared to $14.99.
Well, yeah, because you're getting half the fucking price.
It's not worth it. I'm balling on a budget right now.
What?
And
ounces
I
are
don't
those,
need to
does it
drink a
say?
lot because I got a softball game.
7.
7?
We're
Oh,
live, by
wait,
the
no,
way.
that's per 7.
We are.
Is it go time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, 7.
I like this.
Yeah.
Well,
so
yeah.
this is
Cold
like
open.
one serving size, or technically.
So 7, I mean, what, they're usually 12, I would think. Yeah,
Yeah, 12-ounce
you got a
beer.
deal.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the You Never Know podcast. We are here with the two co-founders of Idaho Livin.
Happy 420.
Happy 420.
Just
Idaho
coincidentally.
Livin, the fastest growing clothing company in Idaho. Jonas and
Mhm.
Jackson, how we doing?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Pretty
Not
swell.
too bad, yeah.
Yeah, a little overwhelmed with finals and stuff, but, wanted to make this happen, so,
Can't relate.
yeah.
No, me either.
This is our second attempt here, but you know how it goes. First is the worst, second is the best. So
You never know.
I'm sure you guys are overwhelmed with your own business, too, though.
Yeah, honestly, but I enjoy doing it. So, like, when I'm overwhelmed, it's, we'll stay here late, but
Yeah.
you enjoy doing it. With
Yeah.
school, it's just like,
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah, you gotta the
Yeah.
like benefits of it are a lot more long term with school, so it's like hard to really keep focused and just want to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We struggle with that too, actually, because we don't see a lot of the benefits right away. But there's for the first 4 years, we didn't pay
Yeah.
ourselves for the first 3.5 years, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. So there's some nights where you're just sitting there, you're like, why in the world am I doing this? But
I bet.
you gotta keep
Juggling
that
a
in mind.
job and Idaho Living at the same
Yeah.
time. It's a grind.
well, let's talk about it. Let's go back to day one. You guys started this company, your senior year of high school, right?
Yep. It was 2017 in December. It was me and Reese. We were working at the Twin Falls Visitor Center, and one day we were both like, hey, we need another way to make money. So Reese was an artist. I started working with him a little bit. Things didn't end up going right, so I went my own way. Started playing
Partnerships are
around with
tough.
what?
Partnerships are tough.
Yes. Started playing around with designs and was selling them out of the visitor center. Then one day was playing around with a new design, the famous Livin logo.
It is quite famous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's on all of our cars. I mean, I think few
It's on my
people
water bottle,
around.
it's on
Yeah.
my laptop.
It's on my moped.
There's
everywhere.
The
there's a
ruckus?
certain
Yeah.
group right now. We're trying to get it
It's all about
outside
brand
of the
recognition.
group.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what we're trying to do is promote it to help get it outside of the group.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So created the logo. And then from there on, started selling on Etsy, and then through my mom's Facebook page, started gaining some traction, and then started hanging out with Jackson quite a bit.
So what was it you guys were selling on there back then? Was it just shirts? Or
Just like the Idaho Living shirts.
just the
hoodies.
black with a.
Hoodies too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just like different hoodies with different logos.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing like you got now,
it was,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was honestly just a gray Livin logo on
Like
a
what
bunch
you
of
got
different
on
colors.
right now? Just like a basic shirt,
Yeah.
basic
Yeah.
logo?
Yeah. Super simple.
Which we still do some of that because people do
It
like
sells.
It
Simple
does.
sells.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we had different hoodies back then.
Has the logo changed at all since
Yeah.
day one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like what ways?
The letters used to be a lot fatter, and people always thought it said Ivan.
Gotcha.
Ivan.
Yeah,
Idaho Ivan.
who's Ivan? They're like, what?
Yeah,
And then
what?
Over time, slowly shrunk them, and then learned how to vectorize logos, and got it all straight. So
Nice.
What does that mean, vectorizing them?
it's
Just like
to put it in simple
making it, like,
terms. You can
symmetrical.
zoom in as much as you want, and it won't pixelate.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It's
Just the
perfect.
quality of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
But
nice.
the way I brought on Jackson was I would send him logos. The Livin logo in specific, and he was super unbiased with his opinions, and he straight up told me it's shit. It looks like shit.
Jackson's cutthroat.
Yeah. He was super honest, but I kept going. And then I'll let Jackson explain the part
Yeah,
of
well,
your
I
dad
mean-
talking about how I was doing well.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you see the logo. It's big, front across the chest. We dabbled around a little bit with doing smaller logos, but just didn't sell a ton. People they buy from us because they like the logo a lot and they want it big. And at the time, I was into blank shirts, so when I saw the logo big on the chest, I was like, "That won't sell. That's shit. Like, no one's gonna buy that."
Like too big, like nipple to nipple.
Yeah. And then also, in my defense, he did put the mock-up, like the picture of the shirt, way too big. Like it should have been smaller.
Sure.
So it was, it was a little bit of both. But
Excuses.
so then didn't think much about it, and my dad one day comes up, he goes, "Hey, that buddy of yours, he's got something pretty good going." And I was like, I started thinking about it and still didn't really understand why. It took me a while to understand why, but one day he asked me to help him sell it at events, and sometimes I think he brought me on because I don't shut up sometimes and good at talking, but
Yeah, that's definitely good.
so
I'm very much introvert. Jackson's very much extrovert.
Is that like the main reason you brought him on?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think it was literally because he didn't want to talk to people at events.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was super. I don't know what my deal was. I mean, I still have that issue, but
Yeah.
You're kind of the tech guy, though, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Behind the
mean, it makes
scenes.
sense.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty intimidating when you're by yourself too. Like you don't have like a partner or something,
Mhm.
just trying to talk to all these people and explain everything.
And the tough thing is people recognize how young you are, and then they're just instantly like, oh, like what do they know?
Yeah, this guy doesn't know anything.
Either that or like, oh, good for you, buddy. This is so cute.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, we get called buddy all the time. It's like, and I don't care that much, but it's like every person we work with, like, because for a custom side of things, like, thanks, buddy. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Thanks,
Like,
bud.
it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Hit him back with like a bud.
Yeah, or thanks, champ.
Thanks, Squirt.
Thanks.
No, I don't really care too much, but you definitely do notice it. You're like, well, and we have to be a little honest with ourselves. We are young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're competing and working with 35 like grown adults, and we're
Mhm.
just a bunch of dumb 22-year-olds
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. So
Well, especially back then when you were still in twin, 18, 19 years old.
yeah.
So back then, though, obviously friends and family were wanting to buy your T-shirts and stuff. How else in the early days did you guys get your brand out there and start selling products?
Well, I mean, events have always been a big thing. That's
Can you like go in what kind of events?
so just craft shows, downtown markets, just basically anything you set up.
Farmers markets.
Farmers
Okay.
markets,
Not trade shows though.
trade shows,
Just anything, pretty much.
anything where you set up a canopy and sell stuff out
Okay.
of.
Yeah.
We would apply to them all.
Have you guys
Pretty
ever done
much.
one of those ones on like A Street or something downtown?
No, we've got they've got a vendor there that sells the same stuff, and
Oh.
it's weird. Some markets don't care if they've got multiple T-shirt and apparel vendors, and some are like, no, we're limited out, which doesn't make much sense. But
Oh, so they limit you guys out.
yeah, so we
Mhm.
couldn't get in because they had someone there, or maybe that's just what they
Oh.
told us when we applied. It was 3 years ago, and we had a horrible setup.
Yeah.
So that could be it too.
I thought you meant like they had someone that was like also doing like the whole like Idaho Livin, not like
No.
to the T, but like like that kind of
Yeah.
clothing.
No, just the same product category, like hoodies,
Got you.
T-shirts, and that whole kind of
Hats and all
thing.
that. Is it like you have to pay to set up at these places, or okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
figure
some
if
of
it was an A Street one, I feel like that'd be pretty expensive too, probably.
They
I-
vary.
That's like downtown Boise. Yeah.
I don't know. That one's only from like 9 to 2 or 9 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the ones that are just one day aren't very expensive. It's the music festivals,
The multi-day.
the multi-day, or even we have one this weekend. It's called the Pinners Conference, which we're really excited for. It's supposed to be Pinterest in real life, is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
So it's like our perfect target market and everything, but it was extremely expensive.
Where's it at?
It's at the Boise Expo Center.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Very
but
nice.
what was the question?
Yeah, so back in the early days, you guys were just selling it trade shows, farmers markets, stuff like that, selling to
Yes.
friends and family. Back then, obviously, you didn't have a headquarters like you do now.
Yeah.
Where were you guys kind of working out of? Where was your warehouse? What was that like?
We originally were in my mom's house's garage.
Big garage or no?
Yeah.
No.
No.
And-
It was tiny.
and
There was a
his-
car parked in there, and then there
Yeah.
was a heat press set up with a
Oh.
table.
Yeah, and then his dog sometimes wouldn't go outside to take
Yeah.
a shit, so I'd walk in there, there'd be dog shit in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I have to
In
go
the
take
garage?
it
Oh, yeah.
out. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
literally
Damn.
dog shit in the corner.
Yeah.
And then we've moved just basically from garage to garage. We went to my garage one summer, and then we went to his attic at his old place.
Couldn't stand up straight.
I could.
Really?
I was fine, but
I guess it's-
I was good.
I don't know if that's calling you short or Jonas tall.
A little bit of both.
More so Jackson's short.
Is it just
Yeah.
like one of the, like the T or whatever, like a
Yeah, just a slanted
Oh, okay.
ceiling.
So maybe you could stand in the center, but try to walk around.
It was horrible.
Dang.
How long were you guys there?
A year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
year.
Was that when you guys were up in Boise, like when you were in school?
That was the first office in Boise. Was
Okay.
that one? So it's over by Indian Lakes Golf Course, which was a problem because I'd be working, get stuck on something, and then Indian Lakes is right there, and go out play a hole or two
Yeah.
or something.
Start
Yeah.
spending all your money there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's not that
Taking
expensive,
money.
actually.
Yeah, it wasn't great for business, but so that was our first one in Boise, and then we moved to my garage, 300 square feet, which was good. That was the best one we've had.
It was cozy for sure.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. We just outgrew it so quickly.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the best one. I mean, it was a shithole when we first got it, but we insulated it, cleaned it out, and did
Painted
a
the
bunch of
floors,
stuff. Put
yeah.
a new door in, like
Yeah.
We're talking about bibbies, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Put the
Yeah.
door in that someone broke down later, right?
No.
Was there an incident?
Yeah, I thought someone broke into
broke
that
into
No,
this
they
place?
we just
Oh,
left
it
it
was-
unlocked,
oh,
and they
okay.
just went in and stole a couple hoodies and.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll
Yeah.
give those back next week.
You know what?
No,
and-
we already got them back actually.
and
No,
the
you stole their
podcast,
products
we
in a different way, not
That is true.
not by going in the garage.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, but so you guys like started out in Twin Falls, tiny business. I remember you guys were talking about how like you guys were into it, but you're also going to the school at the same time, and you weren't getting really where you wanted to be. You were in school full time. You were working full time. What was kind of? I know this was a big talking point with you when we were like sophomores, that you were really considering dropping out of school to take care of this company full time. Just talk about kind of like that process, what went through your mind and like led to the decision to drop out and do this full time.
So like you said, I was considering it for. I mean, my freshman year I wasn't really considering it, but sophomore year comes around and I don't know. We started doing well at some events and having to try and run the business and go to school. School is just more annoying at the time. Like anytime I had to do assignment, it was like, okay, this is just
Not worth my time
Not worth my
almost.
time. And then what happened was COVID happened, and then everything went all online. And for 3 months, I barely did anything. Yeah, like everyone else, you can't learn online. So we went through that whole ordeal, and then that summer, I had known pretty much the whole summer. I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going back to school. Like if it was in person, there'd be a chance I would have went back to school that next fall. But the fact that it was going to be online, I was like, okay, there's no way. So one day I called my dad and I was like, hey, I don't think I'm going back. Like I think I'm going to just try to run the business. And he took it really well. He was like, yeah. He's like, you know what? I trust you. He's like, yeah, I know you got something good going and I know you're going to work hard at it. So
Why do you think like he just was like okay with that? Is your dad like a businessman or?
he's a businessman. He technically doesn't run a business. He does administrative for a company, and he was a business that they hired for a while, but he's always invested in stuff and he understands like, the business side of things. So he's always pushed us from a young age like that's kind of the way to go.
Were you nervous to tell him?
Yeah, a little bit. But at the time, I was almost fully on my own, too, because
Yeah.
I was working another job and paying for everything myself, except for, I think, like my phone bill and
Maybe
one other
medical
thing.
or something.
Yeah, like healthcare.
Yeah.
But I was paying rent. I was paying everything else. So it was kind of like,
All your day-to-day shit.
yeah.
Everything like that.
It was kind of like, yeah, like, but at the same time, it was like, you can't really tell me I have to go back because
right.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah, you're not paying for everything, but he was very supportive, so
Yeah.
I didn't have
That's
to worry
cool.
about that.
I remember kind of when you were you kept like talking to me about, oh yeah, I think I don't know if I'm coming back. Like it's just kind of like you were saying, like more of a nuisance than a benefit at this point.
Yeah.
And I remember because you helped me with like BizStat all the time, so part of
Yeah.
me was like, please don't fucking drop out. Like you're so like, cause you were always helping me with all the quizzes and shit on there.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, I do remember that because there was a period where I just kept telling you guys like, I don't think I'm going back. Like,
It was a long time coming. I feel like you
Yeah.
had talked about that. It felt like it was like ripping a Band-Aid off super slowly. You know what I mean? Like it took a while for you to finally pull the trigger on that.
absolutely. I remember the second I like unenrolled from my classes, I was at Hillcrest working, and like I was like with the guy I was working with, Jake Wilkins. He, if he watches this, he remembers this exactly. I was like, yeah, I just dropped out. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I just dropped out of school.
Just now.
Like just now, I just did it. So it's
Damn.
kind of interesting, but
So Jonas, you went to a CC, right?
CC,
Community college.
Jason,
JC.
CSI. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you kind of have like a similar thought process of Jackson when you?
Sort of. The same idea came from when I was working construction with the whole COVID thing, but before that, I was not a school guy. Like I tried it, barely passed. So I went to college for a month at CSI in Twin. Found out it wasn't for me. Dropped out without even telling my mom. Was like, and she's
How
like,
was that?
Yeah.
she was upset, but I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. Like I got a job lined up. I went and worked at Kodo Brewing.
At Kono. Wait, Kodo. Oh,
Kodo.
Kodo. Oh, my
Kodo
bad.
Brewing
Okay.
in Twin.
That's cool.
Yeah,
How long
worked there
did it
for
take
about
you
a
to tell her?
year. What?
How long did it take you to tell her?
I didn't go to school for 2 weeks.
Until you told
Just
her?
skipped all the classes,
Mhm.
and then 1 week I was like, all right, like I need to let her know.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, did you fail that semester then?
Yeah.
Because, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even tell my teachers I was coming back. I just was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
See ya.
If you're already that far through the semester and then you just stop
It's-
going.
I guess I never
it's
thought about
messed
that.
up, but I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
School,
I didn't find a
he's
reason.
got the creative mind. School is really not for,
Yeah.
you know.
And so after you dropped out though, or failed, however you look at it, is that,
Either
when you
way.
is that when you decided to move up to Boise, work, and
Yeah, so I wanted to become a wildland firefighter. This was before we wanted to take Livin full time, or before I even thought anything of it. But moved up here, got certified in that. It was just really slow fire season, not much going on. Which
do you
was
get
a
paid
good thing.
regardless if there's fires or not?
no.
Really?
It's hourly,
Oh.
isn't it?
So this was through a contractor.
Gotcha.
They're actually right down the road, but if they need help at a fire, then they are called and then we respond. But no fires really happened, and then ended up working construction. I needed some money. Worked construction for maybe a year and a half, and then COVID hit, which I was like, I'm not like, so what happened was we had a COVID scare. So I told work like, hey, I think like I came in contact with someone with COVID. They're like, all right, don't come in for a week. So I took the week off, and then I called him that next Sunday and was like, I'm not coming back.
What kind of construction were you doing?
It's called. I worked for a crane company, so we put up
Okay.
these big panels, big
Mhm.
concrete panels.
Yeah.
Put up that they used to put up warehouses and
Mhm.
stuff.
I've
But
seen it before.
I was living for the weekends, and that's tough because when you're working a job and doing Idaho Livin at the same time, you do a lot of the work on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I would wait till Friday, and then I just get messed up, hang out with friends, and not really do work.
What was
Yeah.
the business like at that point? Like how
a lot
serious
of
or like what
tension.
what was it like? Sales like? Were you guys like on that rise? Was it pretty plateau then, or
Basically nothing. I mean, other than when we'd go to craft shows.
it's like still a side gig?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
absolutely a
Yeah.
side gig. It was very frustrating.
I was very immature with the way I went about things, and Jackson did a lot of the work when I was working
Yeah.
construction.
It was basically like me trying to hold the ship for a
I
while.
was gonna
Yeah.
say I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but I remember freshman or early sophomore year, I'd ask, how's Idaho Livin doing? You'd be like, well, I've been doing a lot of the work. My
Yeah.
business partner's been slacking
Yeah.
a little bit.
And in a partnership, we're always going to deal with that. Like, and I don't know, the more partners I talk to in business, every single one of them it's a marriage, and it's a marriage that determines how you get your financial income. So there's always like, and we've done a good job because we're so different and we have different roles. That's one of the things that's worked out. But a partnership is tough. Like I go through phases where I'm not as motivated and he's here all the time. He goes through phases where he's not motivated and I'm there all the time, and there's a lot of tension, you know. You
But
walk in and
we do hold each other accountable when
Yeah.
we notice another person's down. Then we're like,
Was there
where you going?
was there tension last week when we filmed the first version of this episode?
there's always. I mean, we're always not always.
We had a
tension, but
massive job. And
Yeah.
yeah.
that was just bad timing. Like we
Yeah.
had kind of been coasting, like getting this office ready, and all of a sudden we got a huge order in on our custom side of things, and like we stayed up all night to do it. And you guys were filming us before that night, and we're like sitting there like realizing.
Plus, we broke the mugs, and like the
Yeah.
computer was all jacked up. So like,
we had a
I just-
busy day. There's a lot going on. It was a horrible time to do it. So it's probably good that
it's a good segue though. You're getting the office ready. I mean, this is where we're at. I don't think you mentioned. I'm sure they know by now we're not in the studio,
Right.
Yeah.
but we're at the Idaho Livin HQ or office. What are you calling it? Retail store or
headquarters.
headquarters?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Headquarters. We have it little set up like a retail store, but that's more for storage for online. We don't know if we're gonna do retail for sure, but we will. If we do a retail store, it'll be somewhere else. We were talking earlier. We don't even know if this legally could be if walk-in traffic could happen. We'll have to check that out.
Oh, so it's a
But-
legal issue is potentially.
Well, yeah, and it's just the location. Like we're not
Yeah.
a retail location.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like the Supreme store and people line up outside before you guys open either.
No,
so
no. Like if you're gonna do retail, you got to do like downtown Boise or,
Yeah.
or something. Like, you got to do an actual retail.
Like a highly trafficked area.
what if you did like a online order, pick up in store type vibe?
That's what that's
That's the
pretty
plan.
much what it is.
So you just add like that pickup at
Yes.
HQ on the
online
website.
online pickup. Just people don't want to pay for shipping. Also, you can set up appointments. So, like, if people could message us, say like, "Hey, I want to come by," that's okay. Like, they set up an appointment to meet with us because
Sure.
it's like customers coming by. That's fine, but no walk through traffic. Like,
Gives you time to clean the space and.
yeah, get out of the beer can. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
I was gonna say, you guys, we try to do like the kind of promotional video for this where we're doing like the tour. You guys don't have a sign yet outside the office. Is that a work in progress? Or
So we just got a banner we're gonna put up for now. We're working. I mean, signs are pretty expensive.
I said
Yeah.
decal. Go
You put
the,
like that out
go
there.
the decal route on the window.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
We're probably gonna do both, but we should do the decals
Yeah,
sooner
we
than
we
later.
definitely will get stuff on the window too, like Instagram, Facebook, maybe or something.
Right.
But that banner will go up, and then eventually we'll get a sign. It's not as important because it's not a retail store, so it's not
Sure.
like people are seeing it. So we're doing stuff kind of behind the scenes.
Is this office complete, or is there going to be more added on, or what's the
It's close.
We're putting in a little bar top there.
right here where I'm sitting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little
Kind of hide the fridge or something.
yeah, a little pallet bar just to kind of clean that area up,
Mhm.
fix the kids section over there, and then I think that's it.
And then, I mean, we're gonna add some plants, liven this place up,
Sure,
Yeah.
some
and then put some
greenery.
pictures up.
I'm pretty impressed with the sound acoustics. It sounds really good in here.
Yeah.
Like really good. I'm very surprised.
Like
Like
on the
acoustic,
mic?
yeah, acoustically
Oh.
wise, because like some rooms sound really bad.
perfect
Yeah, it's
spot
like
for
not
a
super
podcast.
echoey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
perfect,
good spot
perfect spot for a
Yeah.
podcast.
which we might probably do eventually.
Yeah.
So, and this would be
Yeah.
the spot we do it because it's out of the way. You don't have to worry about customers coming in and everything.
Yeah.
So,
So what about this? I'll throw a picture of it on the screen. What about this? Is it a buck? A deer? What is
It's
this
an
over
elk.
here?
Rylan,
An elk?
A
come
second
on.
place
Hey,
elk.
Dude,
People
come
people
on.
don't see it.
It's an elk.
It's a massive elk.
Yeah. So that was the one I shot my freshman year. First elk I've
14
killed,
point?
or no, not first elk. I killed a cow before that, but first bull elk I've killed.
Like by accident or on purpose?
No,
You
on
are from
purpose.
Idaho.
No, on
A cow
purpose.
elk,
Uh,
not a cow.
cow elk. Yeah.
Oh,
So
got
so,
it.
so a,
Female.
a
That's what you went
female
cow
elk
tipping
is
one
called
night,
a
or?
cow elk.
Oh.
Like, oh, that's not an elk.
You guys thought I shot a cow. No, I didn't shoot a cow.
Or maybe you went cow
That's
tipping or
14
something. I don't know.
Is that an Idaho thing? That's what you said. That's actually very funny. But no, so did you say 14? So
Yeah.
over in the East Coast, I think they do that. He's actually technically called a 7 or 1, 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 7 on each
So
side.
it's a heat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a heat. Yeah.
Only
What's
the
his
males
name?
grow antlers.
Yeah, does it have a name?
Only the males grow antlers, right?
Does he have a name? You said, yeah. The only males grow antler. No, I don't really want to.
Get too attached.
Yeah.
Oh well, not like obviously I'm not attached to him. I ate the thing, but no, I just don't. I mean, maybe if you guys came up with one that would fit, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Maybe if
but-
it was first place.
Yeah. So,
I think what about
okay,
Idaho?
so what I was trying to say is, so that quality elk, not trying to hype myself up. Like I have my dad's friends who like hunt their whole lives to try and see something like that,
Mhm.
and my lucky ass went out one day after getting 2 hours of sleep and.
Are you a hunter?
Oh yeah. Well, I used to a lot more growing up. So
Okay.
my grandpa took me out a ton. We would go hunting every year. It's an Idaho thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Danger was a Boise City boy.
A
So he
Star
wanted-
City.
Star
Star
City.
City
Oh,
folk.
actually, you were
You
out
hunt?
in the country. now that I think about
More
it.
by like the Maverick gas station.
Well, back then
That's-
it's more
that's
the
where his
more the
hangout spot.
boonies. I think that's a
Yeah.
better term for it.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so I grew up hunting and got lucky and killed that massive thing and still only got second place because
Yeah,
some dude.
Damn,
I'd
that's
love to
crazy.
see the first place. Like
Yeah.
that thing's
Yeah,
massive.
he beat me by 2 inches.
I was
so
saying,
it was
can't
like-
be
Is
that
it, is
much
it like
bigger.
the antler spread
well, what
or
kind of
something
2 inches
like
are we
that?
talking about here?
So I don't know the actual way they score it. It's like I think it's called a something score. It's like width and then the total inches of it, and it's like a number, like all of it combined together
Mhm.
is the score you get. Like a 400 elk is like a barely ever happens. That's like the dream elk that he was a 393.
Damn.
And then he had one of his tines in the back that was broken off about halfway
Yeah. I
on
can
the
see
right
that.
side there. So if that wasn't broken, he had a chance of being a 400 elk.
Wow.
But obviously,
Damn.
I'm not complaining, but
Yeah.
You got to
Um,
enter a raffle for elk here, or is it like
to get the tag for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so you have to put in for certain units, and then they draw tags, and only a certain amount of people get the permit. So
cool?
I mean, I think Ivan would be a pretty good name for.
Oh,
for it.
Oh,
I
that's
like that.
that's not bad.
That's
That's
good.
got
Danger.
some merit
That
to
is
it.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pays homage to the older days of Idaho living, where you're
Dude,
commonly mistaken.
That's actually genius.
I'll think
down.
on that. I mean,
I'm down
Get him a
for
little
that.
like name tag or something. That'd
I
be
don't
sick.
love the name Ivan, but that might work, just because that's kind of funny. And
You
it
don't got to name your
connects.
kid it. I'm just saying like the elk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
It kinda
Because
is my baby. No,
people are gonna walk in. Oh, you know what? They're gonna ask about the story behind it. What's its name? And you're gonna say, oh, it's Ivan.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't had anyone ask me for its name.
Now you have.
I think you guys are the
I don't
first.
think people.
Well, that's why we're
That's
here.
why
We
it's a
ask,
bad
the hard,
question.
we ask the
Come
hard
on.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay, but kind of getting back to the actual business and stuff. You kind of stopped working full time with construction or whatnot. You dropped out of school, and then you guys took this on full time. How big of like a jump was that for you guys? And what does it actually take to run your own business full time from the ground up?
So the timing worked out pretty good because he was getting unemployment from COVID. So
Oh, there you go.
Making more money a week than I did actually working.
Yeah, I
yeah.
bet. I
So
wish I got those.
I think a lot of
checks,
people
dude.
did.
Yeah, my parents got mine. I didn't get it, but
really,
or no, just I'm thinking the stimulus.
no, yeah, just the
Yeah.
unemployment.
yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
It
the
was-
stimulus plus unemployment.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're-
No,
It
I
was-
worked
Yeah.
through all that.
It was nuts.
Yeah, so he was able to, even if we didn't make any money, he was still making more money than he did a week
Yeah.
working. So, but it's a huge transition phase. It's still, we even still see it as a transition phase. Like we've got so much to do with where we're gonna grow this. So the question you asked was like, what does it take to run a business? Is that what you said, right?
Yeah, because you talked about in the beginning, you guys were kind of like half-assing it, not taking. You had other stuff going on. You guys were
Yeah.
18, 19-year-old kids, and you didn't really realize at the time how much it takes to actually run a successful business. So what would you say to people who are starting up, like what it actually takes?
It's just like you're gonna have to just keep grinding, and it's gonna feel like it's not going anywhere for a while. We didn't feel like we were going anywhere for 3.5 years, and I mean, just even today, there's a little moment where you're getting stressed. I mean, it's just
Stay humble.
yeah, it humbles you, and it's a lot. Like it's not something I would say I would recommend to everyone. Like
Yeah.
if you're willing to put the work in and not go downtown half the weekends, and
I'd be out right there.
and take take that. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices. Like you notice early on. It's not that I didn't want to go out and drink with you guys. I would have loved to. You know,
Right.
that's who I am. I'm a party kid. Like that's what I love to do. But
Party animal.
I'm a party animal. But
We've heard about your high school days.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we don't need
that's-
to get into
yeah.
those. But I would rather have been doing that. But I think I was pretty good at thinking long term. Part of that was because I worked at a country club, so I saw these retired people who were like miserable with their life, and that was the last thing I wanted to do. But I was really good thinking long term. You got to make those sacrifices, and you just got to keep pushing through. And And then also the other thing is like sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you work. If you're working on the wrong thing, it's still not going to work. So it's like you got to work hard and you got to figure out the right things to work on too. You're just beating a sledgehammer against the wall. It's not going to make you any money.
Yeah.
Working hard, but
So you guys like constantly coming up with new ideas and, you know, kind of just spitballing stuff every day.
we're never not thinking about.
Once Connor, our employee, leaves, we kind of just hang out and brainstorm, you know,
Yeah.
potential ideas.
That's why we
designs.
set this up like this. So we want to hang out here longer, come back, drink some wine, you know.
I heard White Claws is
White
is
Claw.
your go-to.
Sometimes it's White Claws.
The other day
No,
we did
not
our
me.
pre-podcast meeting, and you're in here drinking White Claws, and Halsey's playing.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
In the
Jackson.
mood for sure. I was having
By
some,
himself.
I was getting some good ideas going. That's actually funny. Yeah, you guys walked in. My playlist consists of a lot of different genres. It could have been country. It just happened to be Halsey at the time, but
Sure.
she does have
Alright.
some bangers. I mean, you can't disagree with
Can
that.
you name
She
one?
does.
11 Minutes, I think, is one of the better ones. What's the other one we always listen to?
Oh, now he's pulling you into
Oh.
into this Jonas.
No, he listens.
Dragging him with you.
I am a big fan, but
Yeah.
I'm drawing blanks.
She's got like 3 or 4 songs that are like, okay, I will scream this in my car while I'm driving, kind of thing.
Like
Sure.
Are you like a bad at love? Isn't that one?
That's a good one
Ooh,
too.
yeah.
Yep, that's a good one
Yep.
too. Yeah, no shame.
Yeah.
No shame.
But another point I wanted to talk to you guys about, it's like you guys have some really cool promotional videos and stuff like that, and like your Facebook and stuff is really good. I know last time we were here, you guys were talking about using social media more, like specifically TikTok and stuff like that, because it just takes one video to blow up. And you were talking about, you know, Dogface 208 before we started.
Yeah.
What have you guys kind of been doing in regards to social media and promotional videos and stuff like that?
Actually, kind of funny. This week we just started running a couple ads.
Or
Just
like
posting
online,
more.
just on Instagram
Yeah,
or
just
something?
Instagram and Facebook.
I like the one with, what was it, a llama?
Yeah,
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 that one
yeah.
was.
We didn't actually run that one. We maybe should. That
Yeah,
one, I feel
that's
like that one
not
gets
a
some
bad idea.
interest. Because we're trying to grow our audience. You know, most of our, the cool thing about us right now is we're where we're at, but really not a lot of people know about us.
Yeah.
Like very little people know about us. We haven't really run a ton of ads. We haven't really marketed a ton. We just had a solid group of people from our hometown who supported us, and then also us running 2 simultaneous businesses with the custom side of things, and then also our brand has been allowed us to get where we're at. But there's so much more room to grow. Like we haven't even touched the potential of either side of the business. Like which also we were talking about earlier. We might focus just on one because you know you're doing a couple things at a time. You don't do the best job at one of them, so that's another thing we're thinking about.
Juggling 100 different things. You gotta find out what you need to do first. Like marketing is not the thing we need to be doing first. It's more back end, so that when we
Okay.
do get the traffic,
Yeah.
we're able to handle all the orders.
Yeah. What's kind of like your guys' day to day like? You put on your Crocs, get to the office.
Do
Yeah,
10
show those
push-ups.
things off.
Yeah, let's see the
I'm just
Crocs.
kidding.
See the Crocs.
These are kind of beat, but
Those are kind of your signature.
How many
Yeah.
pairs of those you got? You got more than one?
honestly, just these, and then my girlfriend bought me a pair with the fur on the inside.
Boots with the
like
fur.
sneakers, yeah.
Yeah, which they're nice, but you don't want to wear them too much because then they kind of get dirty. I like the original ones better, especially for working around. And those are more like slippers. They're pretty much just slippers at home.
Yeah, my
but
feet get super sweaty in those.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I'm starting to notice nowadays like today on social media, I'm seeing more and more entrepreneurs wearing the Crocs.
You're a
I'm not saying I started it all, but
Starting a movement.
like it's just I don't know. They're just easy to put on.
Comfy,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you
Not
were those
sponsored.
like business conferences, or not like conferences, like meeting people and like making connections
Anywhere.
and stuff.
I'll wear them anywhere.
Like,
Like
tell your
there's-
story. You wore them somewhere pretty
Yeah.
important.
Well, it turned out not being important. We thought it was important at the time. We actually still have an outstanding invoice with this lady. She completely ghosted us. But so she had a connection with Albertsons, and so at the time we were still in that attic with the slanted roof, and we thought we were gonna get our product in Albertsons and blow up, and this is how we're gonna make it. How many times have we thought that?
Over
3 or
100.
4. Not over 100. Jesus Christ.
There's been a lot of highs where we've been like on top of the world.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing, though.
Yeah.
That's definitely
Yeah.
a good thing to have.
Yeah, but so I had this meeting with this lady who was going to get us into Albertsons. Didn't think anything of it. Put my Crocs on like I do every day and showed up to the meeting, and and even when she brought it up, like I wasn't really worried about it. You know, it's
She
like,
brought up the Crocs.
yeah, she like
Oh.
noticed them and she loved them, like thought it was
Oh.
amazing. And
Were you wearing a suit and Crocs or?
this is literally what I wear:
I don't think I've ever seen you wear anything else.
Yeah.
polo, shorts. If it's cold out, maybe I'll put on some pants, but not too often. Then
Were you that kid in middle school who's like waiting for the bus when it's like 10 degrees out and everyone's freezing and you're there in shorts? Like, dude, I don't get cold like that.
no. I was the one that was always cold.
Okay.
But when you're inside most of the day, you know, you're not too worried about
Yeah.
it. But
Should we go back to the question you had asked?
Yeah. So what's your day to day like after the Crocs?
after the Crocs,
save it
yeah,
to
bring
that's
us
true.
back.
After the Crocs, I get in here. It's switched around so much, you know. Day to day at this office is different than day to day at the last office, and day to day at the office before that because we're doing all this other stuff.
Sure.
But day to day now is we get here. We
Go with you, and then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get here at 8 o'clock, at least by 8 o'clock. Sometimes I'm here earlier. If not, I do our books. So I do our QuickBooks and stuff like my shitty work and what I call the stuff I want to get out of the way. And then Connor shows up. I get him set for the day, and Jonah shows up. Then we talk about the things we want to do for the business and then kind of get the day set up. And then it's just so random. Like you can't pinpoint down like this is what I do today because maybe we have an event that weekend we're getting ready for. Maybe we have a custom order we need to get done for a client or
Something breaks on the machine. And
yeah.
You got a
Prob-
podcast to do.
You got a podcast to do, you know. It's never the same thing, which is cool. Also kind of stressful sometimes, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I
Mostly
think
cool.
I think that makes work more exciting no matter what field you're in. If you know, it's not wake up, go to cubicle, you know, clock out at 5. Doing something different every day makes it go by like goes by way faster. One, but two, it's also just more exciting. You never know what you're gonna get.
exactly.
It's tough though because there's so many different things going on at once, and it's hard to manage them all.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily like you get to work and you got like this one order you're working on, and then you know the next day you're working on something else. It's you got 50 things to work on this day,
Yeah.
and then 50 different things the next day.
Do you guys have like a general time where like, oh, I'm usually here from like 8 to 6 or anything like that, or is it completely depending on what you got going on?
We try to be here when Connor's here.
Yeah.
One of us. I mean, like I'll get in before I go to the gym. Like I'll get in around 6, and then hit the gym at 7. And then Jackson will come in around 8 or 7.
Or so why don't you
7 to
hit the gym before you come in? Why do you come in for an hour?
I like to do the shit work and then hit the gym to kind of clear my mind.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
a good process.
There's a lot of things that I do that it's just it's painful, and I need to be alone and not
Yeah.
have all these different distractions. So I get that out of the way and then hit the gym, and then I'm back in by 9.
What do you consider shit work?
Vectorizing logos for
I was gonna
clients.
say vectorizing.
Yeah, dude, that's another level. Fixing something on the machine, or even just brainstorming what we want to do throughout the day.
Getting ready for the day.
Yeah.
Are you that type of person like in the morning, like that's when you have the most clarity? So now
Yes
for me,
and
it's
no.
like when I like trying to fall asleep and I'm looking up at my ceiling. That's kind of when I like start to think more about everything in life.
It's more so night for me. Like,
Okay.
but
With the Halsey blaring and
The
the white claws going.
Crocs are
The
on.
best thoughts then.
yeah, but yeah, that's my day to day, and then I'm usually hanging out till about 8 or 9, just brainstorming ideas
Yeah.
at night. But
Very nice. What were like the kind of steps you took to like progress the whole business further? Like when you started buying machines and stuff, like how did you decide what you're gonna buy and like how you're gonna fund it and all that?
It's actually funny. What were we gonna buy before we bought the embroidery machine? We were looking at something else.
it wasn't a screen printer, was it?
I think it was. We were talking about buying a screen printer, so that's just a different way to print stuff on our clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is, I think I saw something on Instagram when. Do you remember? I came to you, was like, let's buy an embroidery machine.
It was like 0% financing.
Well, yeah, we didn't looked into that yet, but I was like, let's buy an embroidery machine. Like, I don't know what we're waiting for. Let's just buy one. I was tired of like, because otherwise you have to buy all the hats, you have to bring them to the embroidery, pay for them to embroider, and then get them done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
It's a long process.
yeah, I was like, let's just buy one ourselves. And then we looked it up, and there's a way to get through the company we have. They call it 0% financing, but then you find out later on that there's a fee tacked into that, so it's not really actually 0% financing. Which my dad had told me the whole time. I was like, no, it's actually 0% financing. He's like, there's no such thing as free money, and There really isn't. You know,
Nothing in
there's-
life is free.
Yeah, there's
Right.
just they always tack. I mean, the bank's got to make money somehow. But so we thought we were getting a 0% interest rate. So got the machine. So basically, what it was is we paid monthly what we thought was 0% for the machine. So we got the first machine. What ended up happening is we didn't buy a commercial machine. We bought a semi-commercial machine, and it couldn't embroider on hats like we wanted to. So we invested up. Well, we hadn't really invested that much money, but it was like $150 a month, I think, to start. And then all of a sudden we realized, all right, this actually isn't going to work for what we need. We need one that's 2 times as
Quicker,
expensive.
and there's two of them
Yeah.
going at the same time.
Yeah, so 2 heads is what it's called. 2 hats can go at the same time. You can embroider 2 hats at the same time.
So what'd you do with that machine?
So the first machine that we got, honestly, just sat in that old office for months, and we used it as literally it was like a table.
Still.
Yeah, it was like a table pretty much, is what we used it for. And then one day I was
Hat
sitting
hooping
there.
station.
One day I was sitting there laying on our floor, stretching my back, and I'm like, I call him, I was like, why haven't we sold that thing yet? Put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I think within a week, we maybe 2 weeks.
A month, I'd say. Like
I thought it was
within a
pretty quick.
month.
Within a month, okay, we'll
Yeah.
say within a month. Sold that one. Didn't quite get all the value that we technically paid for it yet. We actually are technically still paying for it monthly, but since we sold it, just minus is what we paid. But so got that one sold, and then we're sitting on the one we got now, and we got another new machine coming in. So your question was like, what?
I guess like how did you like start building the whole like brand? Like what machines did you want to buy first? Like how did you know what one was going to be the most profitable?
So it started with his heat press is how it first started. You tell
Mhm.
the story with that.
Back in 2018 when we had that eclipse,
Mm-hmm.
I was selling eclipse shirts with this $150 heat press that I had at the time. Didn't even go to the temperature needed. Didn't have a pressure gauge because it's got to be, you got to have the right temperature. You got to have the right pressure to get a good print.
Otherwise it'll
And
like
it-
peel off or something.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
went only to like maybe 100 degrees less than what was required. So I had to press it for probably twice the time with even more pressure. And I was selling all these eclipse shirts and used the proceeds that I made from that to buy the heat press that we used early on and that we still
Okay.
have today.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that's the first one, and then embroidery machine was second, and then with the embroidery machine, that was actually probably the best thing we did. We didn't realize it at the time because that opened up our custom side of the business. Because every business out there needs hats with their logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
Every business out there will pay for that stuff, especially the trucker hats nowadays are going insane. Idaho trucker hats. But so all of a sudden, and once people realize you make your own shirts, that was the thing we realized. Everyone's asking us, oh, can you do these shirts? Can you print these shirts for us? And then we realized, okay, there's a market there. Started doing some shirts, got some pretty big deals early on. I remember our first, I think it was like $2,000 deal we did of shirts and a couple years ago, and we were like so juiced. We were like freaking out, like
Yeah,
deal
on
was
top of the
done,
world,
and we're
that's-
like $2,000 when in reality you only make, you don't make.
Was that the 1,000 shirt order?
Yeah.
In the attic where we couldn't stand up straight. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was
That was
it
all with
gnarly.
the press though.
Yeah.
That was with the heat press. But yeah, with the embroidery machine, open up that other side of the business, which it's been a good thing to get us here, but we might eventually cut off that side of the business just to focus strictly on the brand.
Would you ever branch it instead of cutting it off completely? Like just branch it like Idaho Livin Customs?
Yeah,
Something
but
like
we
that,
still got to
or-
run it. The
Well,
problem,
yeah, but once you get big enough in scale, you could hire more people theoretically, right?
yeah, it's just
we can't juggle all these things at once when we're
Right now, yeah.
in the process of
Yeah,
That's
trying to
transitioning.
build
actually-
two companies at the same time.
yeah, that's actually why we brought Connor on. We're trying to do that. It's just so tough, and the thing is like I have a lot of the connections. He's got some connections as well for that. Who does that? So they're texting me, and then I got to work through the order, and then so it's maybe that's the plan. That would be ideal. And because eventually we might do that with other portions of the business, do other branches off. But like I said, the more your focus is spread throughout, the less quality your main stuff
Sure.
is.
For sure.
So
Yeah, I mean, the equipment you guys use, it's obviously not cheap. Do you guys pay for that through like your guys' like profits through what you sell? Do you guys have like outside like
Investors?
Yeah, like investors or just like financial backers?
So we do have a loan outstanding right now that we got. We got lucky with COVID again to where because we weren't technically bankable yet. We
Mhm.
didn't make enough money to be bankable at the time we got the loan, which was last year. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Last year, So I went and talked to my banker, and she referred us to this company that, helps companies who aren't quite bankable yet get loans. And there's this COVID loan out there where if you showed a profit in 2019 and you can prove COVID affected you in 2020, you could get a working capital loan at 3% interest rates. So
Damn
it was like a
good.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was
I
like,
don't know much about loans, but that sounds good to me.
yeah, that's good. That's really
I'm
good.
the same way. He's the
Yeah, finance guy.
he's the money man for
Yeah.
sure.
So that, and with inflation at 10% right now, shit, we're
Yeah.
almost making money. Not really, but
Imagine.
yeah. So we got that. So we do pay for it through cash flow, and a little bit of both.
Right.
But
Little
no
bit of both.
outside investors.
Okay.
And Jackson's
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. But it kind of like.
Take some money from that.
Just a side hustle.
Yeah. That's just for him though. That's not for the company. But it kind of like bounced back when like around the time you like were thinking about dropping out and stuff. I remember you telling me a lot about you would listen to like countless videos and podcasts and read like a bunch of books about starting your business, the right way to do it. And I know that's part of the reason you decided to drop out is because all these experts who had run like successful businesses had kind of recommended that a little bit. How influential is reading and listening to podcasts and stuff been to your guys' business?
You have to have it. I mean, you really can't. Mainly just because at the time, we were 18, 19, still trying to figure out life. But like, especially at that time, just that first step of like getting a little bit of confidence in yourself, like
The discipline to even
discipline,
start learning about that stuff.
Right.
just getting your mindset out of a high school mindset. Like that is dramatically important for working with your parents' friends or anything like that. So early on, huge. Like you have to read books. You have to read self-help books. You gotta.
So can you recommend a couple? Off the top of your head or no?
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck was one of the best ones for sure. That one definitely changed my perspective on things. I'm more so podcasts,
Same way.
Yeah, books,
Sure.
like I do read them, but a lot of the books, kind of go over your head. But I would say that one for sure is, if you're, that'd be a good read for anyone.
Did you ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I skimmed through it, but like when it's common sense. Like
Yeah.
if you understand the money side of things, like it's like no shit, but
But not a
it's-
lot of people do.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's good for, to get, if you don't understand that side of things, definitely. That's a good one to kind of get you. There are some things with Robert Kiyosaki that I'm just like, I think he's a little insane sometimes, but I don't know. Everyone is, I guess. But
find the best way you learn and like can comprehend the information. I tried reading. It just goes straight over my head.
I'm the
Right.
same way.
Yeah.
I'm a
Podcasts,
video guy,
yeah.
especially visual.
Yeah.
I read at like a 7th grade reading level, so
Yeah.
it takes me like 5 hours to
aren't you
read.
gonna
Like,
be an
Unless you
engineer?
got Adderall. in
yeah, I
you.
don't read at all. I just do a lot of math.
Like if I'm able to both watch and listen and just keep my mind
Exactly.
focused, I can
Yeah.
comprehend.
It's kind of the
all
point of the video podcast is like,
Yeah.
because I'll turn on an audio one every now and then, but it's like I'd
See,
rather
for me, I'm-
watch and visualize like you talking about something and telling me.
See, for me, I'm different just because like I can't just sit there and listen to something for so long. So I have to like or watch it. You know what I mean? I can listen to it and then do other things, rather that's like driving or just playing Fortnite or whatever the fuck.
I can't drive and listen to podcasts. I don't know what it is.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
like
not
the only times I listen to podcasts. Really.
I do them when I'm like just chilling out doing like homework or whatever,
Yeah.
or editing video or whatever.
I can't be doing anything else, or else I just
Really? You're just
miss
zoned
all that
in.
information.
Really?
Yeah.
But would you say you learned way more from podcasts and books than you ever did from school, right?
Well, it depends. I learned way more about life. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of podcasts do you guys both listen to? Or-
Now it's just strictly business.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy is a guy I'm like 100% locked in on now. Like I literally won't do anything else other than consume his content because I think it's extremely valuable. And he's a guy who's made hundreds of millions of dollars running businesses, and he's one of the legit guys that's not trying to sell you something. You know,
yeah.
get those views, keep confusing you, keep you watching. He's just like, here it is, no bullshit. I like the way he talks about business. He says, do the boring work. He's like, there's no shortcut to it. You just got to continually do the boring work all the time. But you also have to understand the bigger picture of,
Like
why
what,
you're
what
doing,
that work's
yeah, what
accomplishing.
that work is and why you need to do it.
Mhm.
But you got to do the boring work. Like there's no shortcuts to anything. So I'm 100% focused on him. I mean,
I'm more so Andy Frisella, just because he's built a brand from the ground up.
75 Hard
Yeah.
is who he.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
dude that created that, and he drops podcast weekly talking about life, talking about business, talking about how to handle certain situations, all this different stuff.
Just kind of wide variety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of get the whole realm.
but he's like hardcore, which is why it just like drills it to my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think the good thing is find someone that's legit first of all,
Mhm.
and that you can relate to, because everyone's pretty much saying the same thing. It's just they have a different way of saying it because they have a little bit different experience. At least the successful people are saying the same thing because the same principles apply. There's just different routes to get there.
Yeah.
So you just find someone you like that kind of took a somewhat similar route as you and hone in on them. I would say don't listen to anyone else for a while. Strictly listen to them. Watch their stuff over and over again so you can really lock it in before you move on to the next thing, because you flood your brain with too much, you're not going to remember any of it. And it's just a waste
Right.
of time anyway. So
like, what's your take with like Rogan?
I listen to Rogan. He's more just like fucks around.
Yeah,
Kinda,
he's like-
yeah.
Sure.
It's so laid back, but you learn like the most random shit.
You
with
do.
His guest on
But,
there.
like, it's
just
not
like
beneficial
fun
for me.
facts.
Yeah.
though.
The,
Yeah.
the Jordan Peterson ones are quite interesting in my
Mhm.
opinion.
When I'm made a lot of money and I'm retired, Rogan will be on all the time. But I need to get there first. So
Will you be on Rogan?
fuck, I'd love to be.
I
By that
will.
time, he might be
I heard it here
might be
first.
pretty old, but there'll be a
Oh, I didn't
different
even
Rogan.
think about that. Yeah, he's gonna be old as shit.
He's gonna be really old by the time we're up there.
He's just
but-
sitting on a hologram.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it. By the time we're 42, he's gonna be 72.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
you can still be
watching-
going.
Yeah.
He
Watching
could. I
Fear
probably will
Factor.
be.
You ever
What
watch
was that?
Fear Factor
Oh, I
when he
grew
was the
up
host?
on
Yeah,
Fear
dude.
Factor. Yeah.
He was like probably 20 something or like
Oh,
30
yeah.
something in
Yeah.
that. Now
Probably late
I don't even
20s.
know how old he is now.
What did you say? He's 40?
I think he's
Oh, geez,
50
shut up.
at least.
Really?
I'm pretty
He's
sure.
like 55, I think.
I can fact check
But
it.
so you would say though, like the podcast and stuff you listen to, it's more about life lessons and stuff like that more than it's about business. And you just
It was at first.
okay,
Now it's more about business. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I have my life figured out by any means,
Right.
but
No.
more so like we're kind of looking at like, hey, we've got a lot of overhead now. You know,
yeah,
before it was like if we didn't do anything for a couple months, so what? Now it's
Mhm.
like we don't do anything for a couple months, you start losing money.
Like we have an employee to pay.
yeah.
You got rent,
That's
you
pretty
know.
crazy.
So now it's like,
Are you
okay,
guys still renting machines, or is like you paid for them with
Yeah,
a loan or whatever?
so technically for the embroidery machine we pay $380 a month, so really nothing. And then that other machine we got is through our other loan. So, but that one we've got such a low interest rate on it. I'm not necessarily worried about that one right now.
Is that the one your dad helped you out with?
No, that was the embroidery machine. So we
Oh,
were
gotcha.
short through the bank we were financing by like I think it was like $7,000. So my dad was a nice guy and
Yeah,
Gave it to
businessman
us.
supports businessman.
yeah,
you know?
we already paid him back too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
With
so-
interest?
No. What I did was
It's family, man. Your
yeah.
little comments are
But-
like-
Businessman respects businessman though.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
what I did was I actually invested it into Cardano for him
Nice.
when Cardano went down to $1 back in the day, and then it went all the way up to $2.85, and I sent it to him at like $2. I was like, "Hey, here's your money. I invested it for you. You're welcome." And at that time, it was up quite a bit. So he's like, "Oh, like he was juiced." And then now it's all the way back down. I think even
Oh, he
below
held
that.
on to it?
Yeah,
Sell
yeah,
it?
so it's like so now he's been a little upset with me, but
I mean, he accepted the deal.
Well,
you know, I don't
he
know.
could have taken it out.
Yeah.
yeah, he could have. That's true. But also,
I'm
you know,
holding on to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hold.
Yeah.
Don't. And the only reason I'd sell is in case we go under and I need to put some money in. But that
I don't
won't
see
happen.
that happen
so
anytime
That-
soon.
that
so
will not
that
happen.
won't happen. So
Yeah. What? Speaking of all the growth and stuff you guys have had, what are some of the craziest shipments you guys have had, like numbers wise?
Shipments as in like having product in.
Like how much, like
Out. I think he's
Yeah,
talking
like-
about going
yeah,
out.
Yeah.
outgoing.
in terms of like it's so random. So
or like I guess with like a, and speaking of like with price tag, like the most somebody spent on one shipment from you guys.
well, just recently that order we did when you guys were here was a $10,000 order.
Damn.
The invoice was.
Was that an
Um,
LTL? Is that shipped via LTL?
What LTL? What's that?
Truckload? Like
Oh
pallet?
no, so that was a custom order. Our customer came by and gave it to him.
Gotcha.
and he picked it up. Something like that. You don't want to ship that out because it's going to cost a couple $100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to ship it on a
It's gonna
pallet.
be heavy.
Yeah. Okay. That's what. Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't even looked into that yet. I might. Good to know. I might check it out
One
but
day.
Our custom side of things. I mean, we'll let the customers know like, hey, that's why we don't usually do business like that further away because customer doesn't want to have to pay that much in
Right.
shipping.
I guess
That
you
makes
probably
sense,
wouldn't need
yeah.
LTL though here if you're just doing Idaho base. But I guess you
Yeah.
guys ship outside Idaho or Idaho, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
our own merch we do a lot.
What's where's like the furthest place from Idaho you've shipped out to?
We shipped to an Air Force base in Germany once, but he was a guy from Idaho.
Right.
I mean, we'll ship to like the other day we got an order from Maine.
Matthias Waro.
See, I thought he was in.
No, he's Rhode Island.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh,
you
okay.
never, you never
okay.
know where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, we shipped a shirt to Matthias in Miami not too long ago. That was a Biden making fun of Biden shirt, but
Oh,
Which-
you guys made that like a custom shirt for him?
yeah. So with that new machine we got, it's another side business that we're thinking about opening. We could literally put anything we want on a shirt. So whatever.
And it does it in like a minute.
Oh yeah, 2 minutes.
Like literally, you had it done in 90 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
So on demand, anything you want, you could print one shirt at a time, no problem. We kind of noticed that was where the trend of what people were asking us were going.
Free shipping plus the express production fee, which covers your shipping.
It's not a horrible idea.
That's how you advertise it.
You gotta have like your own logo made and everything, or is Jonas like making different logos and stuff
no,
for
I
people
mean-
like custom stuff?
You guys could send us a picture of
Okay.
Ryland, and we could throw it on a shirt,
Oh, okay.
just like that.
Oh yeah.
I'd buy that
Put
shirt.
some writing on it too.
Oh, yeah.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't like to do the design work because that takes him a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much.
More preferably,
involved.
people come to you. They have like we just did bachelor shirts the other day, like 9 or 10 bachelor shirts. You know.
Did you guys do the Subi's birthday shirt?
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
I
those
saw
are
those in
going.
there. Those are funny.
So that's another order, just like a fun birthday party. You know,
Right.
people need shirts for everything. They want to put
Yeah.
everything on a shirt. And the pictures they have nowadays, you can't do anything. You can't screen print them or heat press them. So that's why we get that new machine. So
I've never seen a machine like that.
yeah, it's a newer technology, and
Does it
it's-
do more than? Were you saying it does more than shirts?
Yeah. So
Canvases,
There-
hats.
yeah, that canvas over
You can
there.
put a hat in there.
Oh yeah,
What? But a hat's like
hat hoops.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. We haven't tested it out yet. That
There's videos.
I'll
all
have to
over online.
see it. Does it come out legit?
No, yeah,
or-
they're called hoops, and there's a hat hoop.
it's like
Shoes.
Like a mold?
You
That's
could do
something?
shoes if you wanted.
No way.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
there's a
That's-
lot of stuff. You
that's
can do
pretty
with
rad.
it.
We probably won't do any of that.
But that requires a lot of time beforehand, and we
Sure,
can't
sure.
even juggle what we have now. So
Sure. I want to jump back to Matthias real quick because we have some fan mail
yeah.
for you guys today from Matthias Waro. So shout out Matthias. His question was, what are some key elements an apparel brand must have to go to market and then grow sales year after year?
Demand.
you go, and then I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I say that as kind of a joke, but not really. Like, there was demand for Idaho apparel, and then also our logo was pretty cool. So through those early years, when we were still figuring stuff out, didn't really know what we were doing, people would still buy our stuff. You know, we made enough money to continue to justify to keep going. So I would say, first of all, the market. You know, there's got to be some market there. Granted, in apparel, there is a market there. But when you don't have something that's distinctive, like ours is distinctive enough, you know, everyone and their friend starts some apparel brand on the side at some point that doesn't take off. You know,
Sure.
there's so many of them out there that it's tough. But if you have something distinctive enough that can catch people's attention, and then there's a market for it, like Idaho apparel, there's a huge market for that, shown by all the Idaho apparel companies out there,
Mhm.
you've got a chance.
Definitely, yeah.
Kind of same idea. I'd say logo, and then I'd definitely say something. I mean, we haven't got there yet. It's more so design based, but I was talking with Jackson how Patagonia does it. People wear Patagonia because they like what it represents,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to have the logo, you know, represent something at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see someone wearing, you know, a Livin shirt, oh, they're about
I'd,
that.
I'd say you guys, are almost to that level. At least the close friend group kind of know, like, oh, Idaho Livin represents, like, you know, the way that the lifestyle of living in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like outdoors and just
Yeah.
everything about Idaho.
Yeah.
We do want to get away from being like outdoorsy.
Okay.
It's mainly just life isn't all serious. Like you got to have
Yeah.
a little fun.
Wear your Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to your Halsey. Who really cares?
Drink your White Claws.
Drink your White Claws. Vizzies are better than White Claws, but you
That's
can drink
true.
the White
Really?
Claws.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
They got like
It's a hot take.
vitamins or some shit.
Antioxidants.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Makes you feel better
Yeah.
the next day. Do some work.
So speaking of like diversifying your image or your brand, how do you guys plan on diversifying Livin in the next, I don't know, let's say 5 years?
So I mean, through our other businesses we've got already right now, scaling those up. That's one way. I mean, it's just like because you bring
Content.
you know.
No one in Idaho, like apparel wise, is making, insane videos.
Sure.
Because that's eye catching.
I know a great photographer if you need one.
Is his name Rylan Dawson?
Yeah.
what kind
actually-
of videos
We're
do you
gonna
think
need to
I'm
get some
making?
contracts going. Get
No,
it in
but
writing.
I also kind of meant like what outside, like, are you guys going to step away from the clothing at all? I mean, obviously you're going to keep doing that's your bread and butter, but like, is there anything outside of the clothing? You're going to do like a different style mug? You can do, I don't know, a shotgun case, like, anything like that?
Keychains.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Product wise?
Yeah, product wise.
honestly, now that we've got this space, that was a big thing with this space, is now we have room to actually grow. Like the old space, we could only have so many products in there, and even then you lose half of them. You forget you have that, because they're just in
SKUs.
boxes. Just you have all these SKUs. So now it's all laid out in front of us, so we can actually picture things out, get it figured out. There's nothing I wouldn't say I'd put the logo on. Something that we agree with, obviously.
What about an alcohol?
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're talking about. There is going to be an Idaho Livin beverage at some point. What it is and who it goes through is the question.
Might be a wine. Might be a seltzer.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to a wine. I don't know the wine business at all, but we'd have to learn it. But
My aunt was actually talking about an idea. You guys know the RL crime stuff where you can scan the barcode or
Yeah.
scan the thing? Doing something like that, but it's more so like you scan it and then it's something like someone's doing in Idaho or like an attraction.
Gotcha.
And having each bottle of wine, represent. a
That's
different
pretty
piece of
sweet.
Idaho.
That's pretty sweet.
That'd be super nice.
Especially
yeah.
if you could get grapes from like those different regions of Idaho. Because I'm sure every region of Idaho has, grapes now. I feel like wineries are super popular. That'd be pretty cool if like, if this bottle came from the southeast side or the northwest side. That'd be pretty sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of diversifying, I know you've talked a lot about when people who have no idea about business or friends or whoever come up to you and they're like, you need to expand past Idaho Livin, you got to do Oregon Livin, Washington Livin. Does that bother you a lot? Have you ever even considered that at all?
It doesn't bother us because those are customers talking to us, and we appreciate them and appreciate their interest. But it's just like it's really funny because it's 50+% of the people that have an idea for our business. I would say if it's even more than that. Someone's like, hey, I got an idea for you. I'm like, let me guess. Oregon Livin. Was that what you're going to say? Yeah, I knew it. Hey, well, it's just like, it's so often. And it's like,
it wouldn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, it will. And then maybe it would. And what I tell them is I go, okay, you go start it. We'll help you. We'll own a percentage of the business. We'll help you. But you got to go set up for events there. You got to, and the other thing is, you go to Oregon and you set up Oregon Livin. They're like, where are you from? Idaho. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
you don't know me then.
Now you're a
Yeah.
shark.
Yeah.
And now you're
I
a
just-
shark.
Yeah, like the whole L is in Idaho, so I just don't get how like the whole Livin, like would you just write
Yeah.
out Livin and then put an Oregon under it?
I guess you could do the state, but then cut out an L within the state.
You could.
Does that
yeah,
make sense?
There's
I
a
guess.
company out there that's called State of Livin, and they have one for every single state. But
Yeah.
Oh.
So they've kind of done that already.
designs are questionable, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'd be
Some
interested
beef.
to see how well they're actually doing. They're actually part of the reason why we struggled getting our trademark early on, because they thought we were similar to them or whatever. And I think I sent them a cease and desist letter.
Really?
They're-
You've sent out a
it-
few of those,
but it-
right?
Yeah.
It was like L, and then it had the Idaho, and the top of the Idaho was the I, and then it spelled out
Oh.
VIN.
Yeah.
Super odd.
Yeah, no, I've sent out a couple of those. There's been people.
How hard was it to get a trademark?
It was rough for us. Usually it's not too hard.
What's the process?
So you
Like-
go on the USPTO website, $250. You pick your class of goods. It's like for us, it was apparel, hats, hoodies, and then you apply for it. The application process is pretty easy. It takes like, I don't know, you did it. How long did it take you?
Are they asking like probably
Pull up a YouTube video and
what
it's
it is
all laid
and-
out for you.
Yeah, so that part's easy. The part that sucked is when we got denied. So we got
Oh, okay.
denied originally, freshman in college, and it was because there's a couple other Livins out there. Like the word Livin is trademarked. There's that state of Livin. There's one with the state of Florida, like wraps around kind of weirdly. So they said we are too similar to those to distinguish us enough. So I had to go in. I called a lawyer.
You're a lawyer.
I talked to my lawyer first, and then he referred me to a trademark lawyer because he doesn't deal with trademarking. I called the trademark lawyer, and he said it was going to cost us $1,000 for him to look over it, give it a chance, submit it, and he said that would be him cutting it short at $1,000, and then he gave us about a 50% chance of it going through. He's like, I've looked it over. There's a chance it goes through, but also there's a chance it doesn't go through.
So you paid him the $1,000?
No, I told him to fuck off. We didn't have. I mean, we were like, this is when we didn't have. This is when we didn't have much money, and then also I was kind of pissed off. I was like, I'm gonna go figure this out myself.
Understandably, yeah.
Sure. So I set everything up. I had the argument because when they send it to you, they have all the reasons listed out, and then they have cases, like past cases, that have determined why that reasoning counts. So you just got to go through and read. Like, it was like 30 plus different cases.
Wow.
Granted, it took me a long time, but
Did you have like your little bifocals on?
I mean, kind of like I have a video where I have like all these different papers like all around, and I was just basically reading through all these cases, figuring out, because I actually want to be a lawyer for a long time.
Did you have to turn the Halsey off to pay attention to that?
I did. Okay. Yeah, I did. It was no music. So I just basically read through all these cases and found all these reasonings and put this whole essay together of an argument as to why our logo distinguishes our company.
Like an appeal?
Yeah, it was an appeal. And what happens is you get 2 appeals. So my plan was, if the first one didn't go through, then I would pay the lawyer. So it was like, okay, so like I have a chance, if this first one doesn't go through. So I spent all that time reading through all these cases, looking up all these lawyer words that I didn't know what they meant, and got that submitted. And then a couple months later, they sent us back like, you've been approved. And
So it takes a couple months then. It's a fairly long process.
It's nothing you want to rush, for sure.
Well, okay, so how long from you applying did you get denied? What was that timeline?
My memory's horrible. I honestly couldn't tell you.
I would
Couple months, you think, though?
at least. And then I had 6 months to
Right.
get all my arguments together, and then I would say at least 4 or 5 months after that is when they got back to us. So
Wow.
Cool.
yeah, so it was rough, but obviously it was important for us, and went and put time in and got it done.
Yeah.
And this is one of the good things about partnerships. We're both so like if there's a problem, we're gonna figure out how to fix it. And Jackson doing that, I gained a whole lot of respect for that, because he
grinded for a few hours.
He's like, I'm not paying that $1,000. Like, I'm gonna figure this out myself. And we're both kind of like that. And that's why I see us being dangerous.
Yeah.
In the coming years.
Stay dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good duo.
I think that's kind of a good segue here to wrap up a little bit.
We had something special for the viewers of this episode.
We do, but before we get to that, I was just going to ask, when you guys first started in Twin Falls and in the attic, did you ever expect you'd be shipping out $10,000 orders and shipping out to Germany and Maine and all over the place?
Have a podcast in your office?
No.
It wasn't even the realm. Like, it was just an idea, like a logo I was selling at the visitor center.
Yeah, like he was saying, like he says, a bunch of people always try to start their own business, like side hustle, just selling T-shirts or something. But this definitely blossomed into something beautiful here.
Yeah.
No, we didn't think. And also, you never would think that people outside of Idaho would buy.
Yeah.
But they do. It's interesting. That's why you don't. And then also the other thing about not needing to expand out, I know who to target. People who live in Idaho.
Exactly.
It's true.
Or from Idaho, or have kids going to school in Idaho.
like it's, if you run a big apparel brand, who do you target? Like, granted, you still need to know who your target audience is, but it's really hard to find them, especially now that Facebook and Instagram have narrowed down their ads. I just target people who live in Idaho, and our response rate is through the roof.
I bet tremendous.
Yeah. So, and then as long as we expand out into other businesses and can offer our clients other services, then you can just raise the value of each client that comes in, bring them more value, and grow that way. And it might change. We're, we talk about it a lot. We're like, there may be a point where we pivot, just focus on one thing solely. Don't, but
Livin coin.
not opposed.
I figured.
Episode of
Figure out a program.
But yeah, so to kind of just end it here, why don't you tell everybody where they can shop for your guys' apparel, where to find you on social media, and tell them about the promo code.
Okay, yeah. So IdahoLivin.com is our website. Idaho Livin is our handle on Instagram and Facebook. Just type that in, we'll come up. You'll see the logo. If someone else has the logo, let me know. And then we're doing 10% off. What was the promo code again?
I think YNK10.
YNK10.
All capitals.
All capitals. You go on the website. You'll get 10% off your purchase. So, and then if you live in the Boise area, you can pick up straight from us and not pay for shipping. So, save yourself $8.
And you get to see Jackson.
Yep.
And
you got to see him in the Crocs.
You see me. You come late enough, there might be Halsey on. You get lucky.
Might be some wine getting poured.
Might
Hey,
be
thanks
some
for
wine.
inviting us to the office, guys.
Yeah,
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm glad we could do this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great.
Second
This has been the one that took the most amount of prep and texting back, and you take 1 to 2 business days to respond. So
Literally.
it's always a long process.
I got a text back from today.
You were quick today, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it was also day of, so you got to kind of be on top of it.
That's true.
Which I appreciate.
I had a deadline.
You
I
really-
leave the message unopened, so it's a reminder. But I'm like, I'll get back to that.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for having us come over. Thanks for
Appreciate it, boys.
thanks
Yeah,
for
thank you.
telling us all about how to run a business, how it's been for you guys. I'm super excited to see where this takes you in the next couple years. Until next time, you never know.
Thank you for watching this episode of the You Never Know podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out our other episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Also, give us a follow, You Never Know podcast on Instagram and Twitter. See you next time. You never know.